Here's how this works. Water, salt, and pepper, those are freebies. Your pantry, it better have flour, oil, vinegar, mustard, and garlic. Beyond that, you'll only need 5 more ingredients and 25 minutes to put an entree or entire meal on the table. So, shop, set the clock, and let's dish out. Alright, first up we've got some green onions here. We use those a lot around here, and I would recommend getting a little better looking bunch than that, but just about all I could find at the grocery store, so that's what I grabbed. Got some white mushrooms here. You could use creminis or bellas if you wanted to. A couple of thick cut pork chops, at least ½ inch thick so they don't overcook while we're getting a nice crust on them. We'll need some ramen. Of course, use any flavor and any brand that you'd like here. And we'll use some good quality beef stock as well. If you can find the unsalted or low sodium, all the better, because obviously ramen has a ton in it, but either way, be alright. First up, a little prep work here. We're going to very thinly slice about 4 or 5 large button mushrooms. We're not going to need this whole container, so just set those aside. We'll use them for another purpose. See, nice and thin, just like that. They're going to cook in like 60 to 90 seconds. We'll take that whole bunch of scallions and go ahead and thinly slice the whites, the light greens, and the dark greens. We're going to use them for 2 different purposes. Some is going to go into our ramen, and some we'll use for a topping, so just set both of those aside. A little olive oil into a skillet. We'll talk more about that in a second. And as you can see, we've got nice dry pork chops that have been heavily seasoned with kosher salt and black pepper. Now, for this recipe, you really want to use a cast iron or stainless pan, something that's not totally non-stick, because we do want to get a nice crust and fond developing on the bottom of this pan. That's not going to happen if you use non-stick, or at least you're not going to get as good of a fond. As you can see, we laid that pork in away from us, seasoned the other side, and after 3 to 4 minutes on that first side, we're going to give it a flip. As you can see, I put it on some untouched parts of the bottom of that pan just to help increase our fond and all that beautiful brown goodness. Once your pork's nice and golden brown on the outside, even if it's not totally cooked through at this point, just set it aside, let it rest. It should mostly carry over cook up to medium or medium well. Next up, we'll take those mushrooms and drop them into that olive oil. They're going to release moisture as soon as they start to get really hot, and that's going to help us scrape up the fond. Just make sure we get them into a single layer, please. After they've been in for about 60 seconds or so, and they're beginning to get some color on that first side, go ahead and add in the whites and light greens of the green onions. And we'll go in with 2 to 2.5 cups of beef stock at this point, followed by 2 to 2.5 cups of water. Go ahead and deglaze and scrape up the bottom of that pan at this point. We're going to add 1 seasoning packet. 2 would just be way too much sodium and way too much MSG flavors in here, but 1 packet helps to season that water and is just perfect. We'll add 2 packets of ramen. Bring this up to a simmer and just break up that ramen while you're deglazing and scraping the bottom of the pan. Once it comes up to a boil, it should cook through in about 3 to 4 minutes, maybe even less. Just cook per package directions, and again, continuously scrape the bottom of that skillet. Once your noodles are cooked to your liking, we'll taste this and adjust any seasoning as needed. If for some reason it is a little too salty, just add an extra splash of water. No big deal. One thing you are going to want to splash in there is those resting juices from your pork chops. That is just pure flavor. Do not throw that away. Make sure you get it into your ramen. For the pork itself, we're going to cut it nice and thinly. And this is the point where if it was still a little pink on the inside, it's all right. We're going to put it down into basically boiling broth here in just a moment, and it will continue to cook through. But mine was already a nice medium well, just perfect. Nice and juicy. We'll bowl up some of these ramen noodles, and then once we've got a nice bed of noodles and veg, we'll go ahead and ladle in plenty of that delicious beef stock and ramen broth. And of course, on top of that beautiful bowl of ramen, we'll add our nicely cut pork chop. You don't have to get all fancy and cute like this, but just thought it made for a nice presentation to kind of fan it out and put it over the top of that beautiful steaming bowl of ramen. We'll garnish this with those greens from our scallion bunch earlier. And there you have a beautiful bowl of ramen that took a few extra minutes than just making the ramen pack by itself, but man, we accomplished so much extra depth of flavor thanks to that beautiful fond we got, that lovely crust on the outside of that pork. The combination of the seasoning packet and the beef stock is just absolutely lovely. Those noodles are, just nice and al dente and a little loose as well, kind of get everywhere. Oh man, this is an absolutely delightful bowl of food. Obviously you can see here, a lot of variations are possible. Chicken breast, steak, even some shrimp would be lovely with this exact same preparation. For those nights when you got a little stuffy nose like I had here, or you're just needing something that'll warm you to the bone, this is an absolutely great bowl of noodles and broth, and a little bit of protein as well. Now, your turn to go make something delicious.